My name is Liam. I'm 72 years old. When I was young, my story started to show on my skin in a deep and rich color. But for many years, I didn't see it as something beautiful. People, especially when I was young, looked at my skin first. They did not see me inside, they only saw a color. They put a heavy, unfair weight on my shoulders because of it. This is the story of how I learned to finally stand up straight. As a very young boy, my world was full of bright sunshine and fun. I had a loving family and a truly happy heart. I did not see a real difference between myself and my many friends. We ran in the green fields, we climbed tall trees, and we laughed a lot together. Our childhood games had no rules about skin color. In those early days, I felt like I belonged everywhere I went. The first shadow fell upon me when I was about 7 years old. At school, a boy I knew looked at me strangely one day. He said, "Why is your skin so dirty looking?" He was not trying to be mean, I now think. He was just repeating a stupid, ignorant thing he heard from an adult. But his words were like a small, sharp stone hitting my young heart. I went home that day and tried to wash my skin in the bathroom. I scrubbed my arms hard until they were red, but the color did not go away. My mother found me crying quietly. She held me close and told me my skin was beautiful, like rich, dark soil or polished wood. Her words were kind and loving, but the boy's question stayed in my head for a very long time. As I grew older, the mean words became more common. Some kids in the schoolyard would not play with me at all. They called me hurtful, ugly names. They judged me before they even knew my name. I started to feel very different from everyone else around me. I felt like I was on the outside, always looking in. It was a very lonely feeling to have every day. My grandmother was my rock in those very difficult times. She was a strong, proud woman with wise, kind eyes. She often told me amazing stories of our ancestors. She said they were strong, clever people who built amazing things. That same great strength is inside you, she would often say. Do not ever let anyone make you feel small, my boy. I tried so hard to believe her, but the world outside of our home was loud and often very unkind. The whispers and the constant stares from strangers felt like a heavy winter coat I could never take off. I started to walk with my head held down, trying to be invisible. I did not want to see the silent judgment in people's eyes. I just wanted to be a normal kid, but they would not let me be one. I remember wanting to join the school music club very much. I loved to sing with all my heart. But when I went to the first meeting, the other kids just stared at me. No one spoke to me or sat down next to me. I felt so alone and unwelcome that I just turned around and walked out of the room. I never went back. They stole the music from my heart. The deep loneliness became a quiet, burning anger inside of me. I did not understand why people could dislike me without knowing me. It felt so deeply unfair, so very wrong. This anger was a dark secret I kept hidden from my loving family. I did not want to worry them with my problems, so I held it all inside, and it started to feel like a real poison. So my childhood ended not with a happy, carefree song, but with a silent, heavy question. Why? Why did the color of my skin matter so much to all these other people? I had no good answers, only a growing sadness and a tall wall I was building around myself. I was preparing for a big battle, but I did not know who my real enemy was. My teenage years were painted with the dark color of my growing anger. The small sadness of my childhood grew into a big defensive shield I carried. I expected people to be unkind to me, so I was often unkind first. I spoke with sharp words, and I kept my distance from everyone. I thought this was strength, but it was just another form of my fear, a different kind of prison. I loved playing basketball more than anything else in the world. On the court, I felt completely free and powerful. But even there, the dark shadows followed me. One hot summer day, I went to a local park to play. A group of white kids were on the court. They stopped their game and told me to leave. They said this court was not for people like me. Their hate was so open and so ugly. That single incident at the park hardened my heart even more than before. I started to look for trouble sometimes to prove that I was tough. I got into small, stupid arguments at my school. I was not a bad kid, but I was a very angry one. I was fighting back against the whole world, but I was only hurting myself in the end. My grades started to slip down. I remember a meeting with a school guidance counselor about my future. I told him I wanted to be an architect someday. I loved drawing big new buildings. He smiled a strange, small, and empty smile. He suggested I should learn a trade instead, like fixing cars. He did not say it was because of my skin, but I clearly heard the real message. He did not believe in my dream. That terrible conversation with the counselor made me feel truly hopeless. It felt like the world had already decided my future for me, without asking. It did not matter what I wanted or what I dreamed of. They saw my face, and they put me in a small, tiny box. For a long while, I stopped drawing completely. I stopped dreaming of my beautiful buildings. The anger turned into despair. My family did not understand what was happening deep inside me. They saw me getting angry and getting into some trouble. They told me to work harder and to be nicer to other people. They did not understand the daily fight I was in. They did not feel the cold stares or hear the mean whispers. I felt very misunderstood, even at my own home with them. I started spending time with other angry kids from my school. We were not bad kids, but we were all hurt by the world in our own different ways. We found a strange comfort in our shared anger. We walked around our neighborhood like we owned the streets. It was a false confidence, a loud noise to cover up our deep sadness and our feelings of being outsiders. One evening, my dear grandmother sat me down in the living room. She did not yell at me at all. She just said, "I see a big fire in you, my boy, but you are using it to burn yourself down." A fire can cook your food and keep you warm, or it can burn your whole house down. You must choose how to use your fire. Her words were so wise, but I was not ready to listen yet. My anger was like a powerful storm raging inside me. It blocked out the sun and the kind voices of people who loved me. I was pushing everyone far away. I thought I was protecting myself from getting hurt ever again, but really I was just making my lonely world even smaller. I was becoming the person the prejudiced people thought I was, and I hated it. I finished high school with no real future plans and a very heavy heart. I felt much older than my actual age. The happy boy who climbed tall trees was completely gone. In his place was a young man with angry, tired eyes and a tall, strong wall around him. I was ready to fight the entire world, but I was losing the fight against the bitterness inside me. After high school, I needed a job badly, so I started working at a large, noisy factory. It was hard, physical work, but it was also something new and different for me. There were people of all colors and from all different places working there. For the first time, my world got a little bit bigger. It was a very interesting and diverse environment for me. The factory noise was very loud, so people did not talk much. They just did their work. My new boss cared about only one thing: how well I did my job. He did not care about my skin color at all. He cared if I was on time and if I worked hard every day. Slowly, I started to relax a little bit. I was being judged by my actions, not by my appearance. I made my first real, true friend there. His name was Daniel. He was a funny white guy with a loud laugh and a kind heart. He did not see my color first. He just saw me. He shared his lunch with me and told me silly jokes. He asked about my family. He treated me like a normal person, just a regular guy. It felt strange and very good at the same time. Daniel and I, along with a few others from the factory, started to hang out after our work shifts. We would go for a cheap dinner or watch a sports game. They were my friends, my real friends. It was a totally new feeling for me. My constant anger started to soften. I started to believe that maybe the world was not so bad after all. Maybe there were some good people. For about a year, I felt very hopeful about my life. I worked hard and I saved a little bit of money. I started drawing my buildings again in my spare time. I even started to be much nicer to my family at home. My grandmother saw the big change in me. She told me, "I see the sun coming out from behind the dark clouds, my boy." I felt truly happy then. Then a big, painful disappointment came. There was a promotion at the factory for a team leader position. It was between me and another worker. I had more experience, and I worked much harder than him. Everyone knew I deserved the job. I was excited and I felt ready for the new responsibility. I thought my hard work would finally be rewarded. But the other guy, who was white, got the promotion instead. I was very disappointed and so confused. A few days later, I overheard my boss talking to another manager. He said, "I know he works harder, but the other men will not be comfortable taking orders from him." He meant they would not be comfortable taking orders from a black man. My heart completely broke. The old familiar anger came back, but this time it was mixed with a deep, bitter sadness. I felt so naive, so very stupid. I had started to trust the world again, and it had betrayed me so badly. It was not about my hard work at all. It was about my skin, just like it always was. The factory was just a prettier prison, but still a prison. I tried to talk to my friend Daniel about it. He felt bad for me, and he knew it was totally unfair. But he did not fully understand the deep pain of it. He said, Maybe you should just work even harder and prove them wrong. He did not get that my hard work did not matter to them. Our friendship felt a little strained and distant after that conversation. Feeling completely betrayed and hopeless, I quit the factory job. I could not work for a man who saw me that way, who judged me so unfairly. I took the little money I had saved, and I walked away. I felt like I was right back at the beginning, a young, angry man with no real future. The glimmer of hope was gone, and the world felt dark and cruel once again. After quitting my factory job, I felt more lost than ever before. I had no work and absolutely no direction. I spent my days walking aimlessly around the city, feeling angry at the entire world. The small hope that I had found was completely gone. I was back inside my high protective walls, sure that the world was truly against me. My future looked completely empty. One afternoon, I walked by an old, dusty building. It had a small sign that said, "Community Woodworking Shop." I looked through the dirty window. I saw an older black man inside, planning a long, beautiful piece of wood. He moved with a calm, focused, and powerful energy. He was surrounded by the clean smell of sawdust and the beauty of finished furniture. I stood there for a long, long time, just watching him work his craft. The man eventually looked up and saw me. He did not look suspicious or worried. He just smiled a little, and he motioned for me to come inside. I hesitated for a moment, but something pulled me in. The shop was warm and quiet, a peaceful place away from the noisy, judging world outside. The man's name was Mr. Smith. He did not ask me many questions at all. He could see the deep anger and confusion in my young eyes. He just gave me a simple broom and asked me to sweep the dusty floor. So I did. I swept up the sawdust every single day for a week. It felt good to do a simple, useful task with my own hands. After a week of only sweeping, Mr. Smith gave me a small block of wood and a piece of sandpaper. He said to me, "Make it smooth." So I sat in a quiet corner and sanded that wood for hours. I focused all my anger and my frustration on that one simple task. As the wood became perfectly smoother, my own heart felt a little bit calmer. Mr. Smith became my mentor and my guide. He started to teach me how to work with beautiful wood. He taught me how to measure, how to cut, and how to join different pieces together. He was a very patient teacher. He showed me that wood does not care about the color of your hands. It only responds to skill, patience, and careful, loving attention. One day, while we were working together, he told me something I will never forget. "They try to build walls all around you with their hate and their fear," he said quietly. "Do not waste your precious energy trying to knock their walls down. It is a big waste of your time. Instead, you must learn to build your own house." His words painted a very clear picture in my mind. "What kind of house do I build?" I asked him. He smiled a wise smile and said, "A house of skill, a house of true excellence. You pour your energy, your anger, and your pride into your work. You build something so strong and so beautiful that they cannot ignore it. Your success is the best answer." His philosophy was a complete revelation to me. He was not telling me to ignore my real pain. He was telling me to use it, to transform it. He was teaching me to transform my anger into a positive, creative energy. It was a new way of fighting back, not by shouting or fighting, but by creating. Not with fists, but with my own two hands and my sharp mind. I started to spend all of my time at the woodworking shop. It became my sanctuary and my new school. I learned how to make small, simple boxes, then shelves, then chairs, and beautiful tables. Every single finished piece was a small, personal victory. It was real proof that I could create something good and lasting in a world that often felt so very ugly. I worked closely with Mr. Smith for 2 more years. I became a very skilled craftsman. The hot anger that once burned inside me was now a focused fire I used to shape fine wood. My hands, which were once clenched tightly in fists, were now skilled at creating smooth and beautiful things. I found a new, powerful sense of purpose in my life. With Mr. Smith's strong encouragement, I started my own small business from his wonderful shop. I made custom furniture for different people. At first, the work was very slow, but I put all my heart and my soul into every single piece. I used good, strong wood, and my designs were simple and beautiful. Word of my skill began to spread slowly through the neighborhood. One year, our city had a big, important craft fair in the main park. Mr. Smith pushed me to enter some of my best work. I was very nervous about it. I was afraid of the judgment and the cold stares from a big crowd. But he said, "Let your fine work speak for you. It speaks a universal language everyone can understand." So I agreed to do it. The day of the big fair was difficult at first, as I expected. Some people walked by my booth and did not even look at my work. I saw the old, familiar, silent judgment in their eyes. But many other people stopped. They touched the smooth wood of my tables and chairs. They saw the high quality and the deep care in my work. They saw the real beauty. A panel of expert judges walked through the fair all day long. They were experts in fine craft and modern design. They spent a long time at my booth, looking at all my work very carefully. At the end of the day, there was an award ceremony. To my complete and utter shock and surprise, they called my name. I had won the top prize for excellence in craftsmanship. Holding that beautiful award was an amazing, incredible feeling. I stood on a small stage in front of everyone there. I saw some of the people who had ignored me earlier that day. Now they were clapping for me. They were not clapping for my skin color. They were clapping for my proven skill. In that one moment, Mr. Smith's wise words became completely real. My old friend from the factory, Daniel, saw my picture in the local newspaper. He came to the shop a few days later to see me. He told me he was truly sorry for not understanding my pain back then. He said seeing my great success made him realize how wrong things were. We shook hands, and our old friendship started to heal again. The special award changed everything for my new business. Suddenly, I had many new orders for my furniture. People wanted my work in their own homes. I used the prize money to rent my own small workshop. I was no longer just a boy who was angry at the world. I was a business owner, a respected craftsman, and a proud creator of beautiful things. I felt a deep, profound sense of pride that was new to me. It was not a loud, arrogant kind of pride. It was a quiet, solid confidence that came from my own hard work and dedication. I had faced prejudice at the fair, but my skill had been much more powerful. I did not knock down their wall, but I had built my own beautiful house. I continued to work very hard, building my business piece by piece. My life had a certain rhythm and a clear purpose now, waking up early, the fresh smell of wood, the great satisfaction of a finished project. I was building furniture, but I was also building a new, better life for myself. A life that was based on skill, dignity, and deep self-respect. As my business grew steadily, so did my place in the community. People started to know me as the woodworker, not just that black man. They respected my great skill and my professionalism. I was invited to speak at local schools about my special craft. I was no longer an outsider. I was a valued and respected part of my city. I never, ever forgot Mr. Smith's kindness to me. When he got older and he wanted to retire, I took over the old community workshop. I kept it open for the young people in our neighborhood. I especially welcomed the kids who looked lost and angry, the ones who reminded me of myself all those long years ago. I taught them how to use their hands to build, not to break. My biggest personal dream came true a few years later. I had saved enough money from my hard work, and I bought a small, beautiful house for my dear grandmother. It had a big, lovely garden in the back for all her flowers. The day I gave her the keys, she held my face in her hands, just like she did when I was a boy. "I always knew," she whispered softly. "I always knew about the great strength inside you." That single moment was much better than any award or prize. It was a perfect full circle in my life. The strength she always believed I had had become real. I was able to give back some of the endless love and support she had always given me. I had used my own hands to build a safe and beautiful home for the woman who had always been my safe home. I still face prejudice sometimes, of course. The world did not magically become a perfect place, but it does not have the power to hurt me like it did before. It does not get inside my heart anymore and cause me pain. I have a strong foundation of self-worth that I built with my own two hands. Their ignorance is like a small, weak wave against a strong rock. I think about my long journey often. The pain of my youth was very real, and it was deep. But I am grateful now in a strange and surprising way. That pain gave me the fire I needed to change my life. Mr. Smith taught me how to turn that fire into a forge, a special place to create strength and beauty. I would not be the man I am today without all my struggles. My relationship with my old anger has changed completely. It is no longer a big storm that controls my life. Now it is a small, quiet flame deep inside. It is a reminder of injustice, and it fuels my desire to be a good man, a good mentor, and a good member of my community. It reminds me to keep building good things in this world. Now my own life is full of a deep peace. I'm married to a wonderful woman who loves me for who I am. We have a family of our own now. I teach my children about their rich heritage with pride. I tell them that their skin is beautiful and that their worth comes from their character and their kindness, not from the opinions of others. My workshop is my favorite place on this earth. I love the rich smell of the wood and the familiar feel of the tools in my hands. I am still building things every single day, tables, chairs, cabinets, and other things. But I am also building something more. I am building a legacy of pride, skill, and quiet dignity, a legacy that is strong and beautiful. And so, my life story is still being written on my skin. But the color is no longer the color of anger or deep sadness. Now, it is the color of polished wood, of rich dark soil, of great strength, and of deep, lasting peace. I finally learned how to write my own life story, and I know it is a very good one. I hope this session was helpful. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more such interesting stories. Take care, everyone.